that we see Proxy Marauder.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Game 2 getting underway here for the ZOTAC Cup Finals. 100 euros on the line for the European Cup, and spawning here in the top left corner of Aklilon Waste. It's the Blue Terran representing Team FXO. It is Strelok.
And in the lower right-hand corner of the map, from the Team Empire, currently down 0-1 in this series, he is Happy.
And I'm going to give a quick little shout out here before we get into this. Not to anyone directly related to the tournament, but someone in chat. I do see Black Rifts tuning in, and the only reason I want to sort him out above anyone else is because he comes from a little community known as a Nook. Now, this is a website that I personally use. I try to get other people to use it, but you guys are so stubborn when it comes to social media. But a Nook is a pretty cool site, guys. Basically, it's Facebook for gamers is what it comes down to. So if you want to have a site where you can go and just talk to people, and the topics aren't Farmville and the ads aren't for like Mafia Wars, but instead for StarCraft, Dota, League of Legends, and all those various games, ANOOK, you can check it out at nook.com.
Yes, been getting some referrals from Anook to SC2 Links, so, you know, shout out to all the people who have been visiting to us from there. Very appreciative of that.
Oh, Overlay, thank you kindly for letting me know.
No problem. And we do see Strelok once again going for a gas opener, and pretty much going to be signaling to me that he's going to be going for a factory very quickly. His barracks was greatly delayed. The refinery was taken before it, and Happy, on the other hand, is going for gasless. So if Strelok's able to get, like, say, Widow Mines out in the field very quickly, a lot of Hellions up very fast, or maybe even like an early Banshee play, the aggression is certainly going to be coming in. Happy will be scouting this out now with his SCV moving in.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is, like, I am very much a proprietor and advocate of Reapers, but this is not a good map for them, I feel. It's really difficult to use them. The surface area to get into the main is just non-existent, and while having one is great for scouting, you're never going to really use it for anything. So it always kind of makes me sad seeing that it's like, oh, it's Aklilon Waste, we're not going to see Reapers on this map.
No. Yeah, and, you know, again, I don't like Reapers in TvT, but, you know, we'll probably keep seeing them because the novelty of them is so new and unfamiliar. My old build that I used to do, Rifkin, with the Reapers, Hellions, and the drop is so less effective now because of how little damage the Reapers do. And it kind of makes me a little sad. It was the old school Boxer build, but I've fallen in love with the 1-1-1 yet again, so I'm content with just doing that in TvT on ladder.
Well, that's how I feel a lot of builds are. They're like the quote-unquote new builds are the old builds resurfacing with that Heart of the Swarm spice added to it. You know, like, go for a 1-1-1, but throw in one Widow Mine, it can change the build entirely type thing.
Speak of the freaking devil, Rifkin. Well, you know. Widow Mine on the way from Strelok. I would not be shocked to see a medevac come immediately scorching out of that starport and boosting across the field.
Well, again, I really like what happened last game where the Widow Mine split. It wasn't... I feel that they weren't used to pick off SCVs damage-wise, but more to economic damage, like forcing a scan out early on. That's like losing 250 minerals.
Oh yeah, it is. Definitely. Definitely. It's devastating when you need to, you know, when you need to use a mule to get your economy up for a specific build you're doing, and all of a sudden you got to deal with not only the potential of losing all your SCVs in one fell swoop, but the fact that you're not going to be getting those additional minerals from the mule as well. It's pretty heartbreaking. And
oh, actually,
been doing
I was going to say, Strelok, the timing on this is so perfect. I'm sorry to interrupt, but look at this. Happy having built his commencer on the high ground. If the medevac boosts down there, he could potentially burrow it at the natural and just deny this for, well, all day.
Yeah, because there's no units to really approach those Widow Mines unless they want to go and piecemeal one by one and try to draw the fire. But
oh, this is cool.
Across the map.
It's not just 2 Widow Mines; it's 4 Marines as well.
I think either Bomber did this in TVP at the last MLG. I don't know if I've seen it yet in TVT, but the follow-up is of course going to be Cloaked Banshees, which is freaking brilliant.
Happy spread on this is really nice. So, like, he's gonna see this coming. The 2 Hellions as well will do a great job in trying to clean this up because everything in this medevac is classified as a light unit.
Will he actually see it? Strelok, you gotta bump your medevac down a little bit farther.
He can boost right behind the engineering bay. Look at that positioning, Doom.
That's where he's going for. Oh, he's actually going to go straight for the mineral line here. The Widow Mines are in a decent position to do damage, and boom!
He actually picks off does a lot of damage to his own Marines there, ironically enough. But he doesn't have energy to scan. He just dropped mules. He's got one scan coming out just barely.
You can build a turret within the time. Okay, just going to scan in regardless. Guys, if you do run into this build similar to this on the ladder and you don't have a scan available to you, the Widowmine time is 40 seconds. A turret takes about 25 seconds to build, so you can build it in time before the second Widowmine shot kills all of your SEVs in the mineral line. So don't go pulling them and being all scared and everything. Be a man, make a turret, and clean that thing up.
Yeah, by having this turret down too, this is going to nullify the effect of these cloaked banshees.
Yes, very true.
Because again, I mean, it's a strong... man. Yeah, it's a strong follow-up, but not if it gets shut down immediately. It has to actually do damage.
So that's actually curious logic then. I mean, if you're going to be dropping the Widow Mines out, wouldn't you want to be dropping them in places that aren't the...
Yeah, you don't want to bait a turret out or something like that, but...
Happy well, spotted and there are 4 Hellions moving forward.
Really safe moving forward there too. With that early scan, he did not want to walk on top of a Widow Mine.
Here's a curious development though, Rifkin. If he's able to continue to force scans out on these Banshees when they're in play, and he'd say drops Hellions into the main base, or drops more Widow Mines into the main base, this could be absolute chaos for our Red Terran player. And he's even going to be losing a depot here at the front.
And that blocks him pretty harshly. But with the Raven out, he no longer has to waste scans.
Very, very smart move there from Happy to do so. And Strelok's adding on a Raven of his own. And once again, it's going to be mech versus mech.
I got like goosebumps.
You know, and the more and more games we see in Heart of the Swarm, the more and more this is reminiscent of Brood War. That's just the way things are playing out. And it's so fun to watch, man.
Well, I feel this is one of those few situations where Happy's style is almost counterproductive for him. Actually, there's an SCV stuck here by the looks of it. There we go. But yeah, when you're playing mech versus mech, you don't want to be on the defensive all day. If you're stuck constantly reinforcing your own tank line and you can't push out, you're never going to win that game, period.
Well, each player is pretty much stabilizing into very similar situations here. Strelok does have a higher supply count currently, but Happy is going to be getting the benefits of his minerals a little bit quicker. On the other hand too here, Happy hasn't taken his gases at his natural, and that's really going to affect his gas intake. So
yeah, gas and mech is just, it's so crucial. I mean, it's not even a question. Gas is the most important thing in mech.
I feel like that opener from Strelok has really just set Happy back to a really great degree, even getting his +1 upgrade a little bit later than he probably wants to here.
Well, it's 2 games in a row where he's completely messed with what Happy had planned.
Yeah. And Strelok is the one with the plan, adding on a 3rd command center too in the main base. So everything is pointing to Strelok really getting the benefit of these 2 openers and really just taking a very strong lead. Even looking at the amount of siege tanks out in the field too. That's another significant factor in TvT matchup.
Yeah,
so
and Strelok
is going to slow down though.
Sorry, this is the delirium making me a terrible co-caster, but I really like that Strelok goes for mass tanks, because the thing is that works so beautifully with his tanks is he doesn't often seem to siege with them. He just goes with it. He just powers through. Definitely
a bold player in every sense of the word, and when you're able to make those definitive decisions when locked into mortal combat with your opponent, you're pretty much always going to be coming out on top. Always. Because the person who's scared, the person who runs back, who takes that time to not attack and run away and do no damage while his units are taking more damage, it's just, just think of it from the math equation perspective here. Subtraction is less than, well,
what would the Terran equivalent, like, because the Zerg thing is like, I'm flapping more wings than you're flapping. What would the Terran equivalent be?
I am pelting you with more lead and fire than you're pelting me with lead and fire.
I don't know, like, I kind of think of you more like, I see more tread marks than you have tread marks or something. I don't know, like, because it's just about counting the siege tanks, right?
I guess.
I don't know, but we have 4 Hellions loaded up to him. But I mean, look at Happy's spread. I'm not sure why he's got an auto turret here, but that's kind of cool that he does.
Probably to spot any incoming drops, or just at least to just signal them you're under attack or something like that. So
I guess
it's not just more, but you have to spot it. It's like the AI signals it to you.
But he's got the Viking there already. And several turrets. Wow, this is a little bit overkill in my opinion, but okay, safe in the story, why not? Strelok now pushing into the third of Happy with a superior supply count as well.
Yeah, he knows that Strelok likes to take advantage of low ground to high ground situations, but in this situation, Strelok's just posturing, forcing Happy into, different scenarios, and here we go.
Gonna drive Happy off this base, and even if it's only for a little bit, I mean, again,
the drop
Strelok is just screwing around with Happy's economy.
Yeah, lots of SCVs are going to be falling.
Yeah, 10 dead at this point.
His third base is up here, though.
Wow, again, Strelok has more than 20 lead, right? Or almost, sorry, a 20 lead on workers.
Yeah, and that's really the significant lead in the two supply differences here. And, same exact composition. You got to be thinking the upgrades are really going to be playing a factor. +1 is done for both players, but +1 has not been started for Happy Rifkin. This is something we really need to be pointing out.
Yeah, upgrades are a big deal. Especially
so big in mech vs. mech.
Yeah, when you're slugging it out and you've got equal, I guess, unit forces, those upgrades become a big deal. And more importantly, too, with these Banshees, Strelok, if he wants to, can be a cheeky bugger and start picking off the tanks.
Ooh, he's actually going to be even cheekier here with a Seeker Missile going down. Does not one-shot tanks.
Seeker Missiles are considerably weak. It's kind of funny to think about because on one hand, one single Seeker Missile is a lot weaker, but now you can launch two at once because they only cost 75 energy. So it's one of those weird trade-offs. It's definitely better this way, but a lot of people don't see it because of the immediate result of like the Seeker.
Yeah, and I really am loving Strelok's decisions making in this game. Rifkin's adding on more and more command centers, knowing that he's going to be reaching that max supply, knowing that he needs to start replacing SCVs with mules eventually, and just being forward-thinking with his macro-oriented approach. He's actually going to be taking vehicle armor and ship plating before going for that +3 attack. So potentially that is just showing that he's not getting as much gas as he wants to be taking.
I think that's more the fact that he just sees the Happy also has no upgrades going for him.
Okay.
And getting the armor, I mean, that's going to help equalize his advantage, or not equalize, but continue his advantage, I guess.
Yep, and Happy just starting that +2 now, adding in a couple of Vikings, seeing that those Banshees are making a play on the field, and big boost drops coming in here. 2 headbouts at a time going to be dropped immediately on top of these tanks, and tons of splash damage going down. Only one tank's gonna fall? Yep, only one tank will fall, but this is opening up a new position here for Strelok.
Oh man, here go the Banshees. They do get... Strelok actually losing a tank there, but again, those drops are really effective because you gotta consider, those are only minerals Strelok is losing in order to do that. I mean, again, you don't care so much about minerals in a mech versus mech battle.
Nope. And I think Happy's recognizing that he's down at upgrades, adding on additional armory here. And man, he's really got to make something happen. He has not had any effect on Strelok's economy this whole game, and Strelok's taking his 4th while preventing Happy from taking his.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, that siege line. It's not easy to break, and Strelok has a very nice one set up.
The longer and longer this goes on, this is opening up more and more opportunities for Strelok to switch his tech into something that's going to dominate what Happy has. And Happy's really just playing reactive. That's the only thing he can do right now. Defensive, reactive posture here from him.
Yeah, the Viking
have a Raven with full energy.
Well, the thing is, Strelok lacks anti-air, and this is actually a really big thing to consider because in a TvT matchup like this, a lot of people, if you don't play Terran, you don't know. A siege tank has longer range than it does have vision, so you need the scouting, you need the spotting from the Vikings in that high ground position in order to take a fight.
What he does have is a lot of command centers and a lot of scans. So despite not having that anti-air, he should be able to at least scan forward and see if any type of unsieges are coming. The big factor that Happy has, the big advantage he has here is this sensor tower. He's going to know when Strelok actually decides to unsiege and potentially move in, but Strelok needs to recognize that that 4th base has been taken for Happy and try to do something to deny it. Okay, and he is moving a unit in now at barracks.
4 Hellions versus a battle, or Hellbat. Almost lose to the Hellbat. What the heck?
It's science.
Yeah, we just got mathed on. Alright, well, both players adding on a ton of command centers, and Happy looking to do something. He's loading up 2 Thor's Doom.
Interesting.
This actually would be somewhat effective because there's no anti-air to shoot these medevacs down. Happy has to scan this. He's trying to clear up supply. So he's trying to kill his own Hellbats.
He's got to go. I wouldn't be shocked to see him like drop the Thors on top of the tanks, pull SCVs at the same time too. He's got to do something.
4
And here we
Thors
go.
boosting
He's
in.
moving out. This is going to be it. And boom, big shots go down those Thors. They immediately drop.
Yeah, this is the big push from Happy, and Strelok's forces are a little bit split right now, somewhere to the south. This is actually really not looking too good for Strelok, Doom.
Well, he does have the lead back at home in terms of economy, and Happy
Actually, these tanks...
Yeah, he was shooting the Banshees with the Thors, not hitting the tanks with them. So now that the tanks are postured up at the third base, they can potentially move in.
Strelok's shooting his own Thor? Here he was. Then he finally
Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, Strelok's on 5 bases now. This is getting a little bit crazy. Happy has finally landed a 4th, but I mean, it's not like he can really mine from
expanding across the map, though, too. A couple of Hellbats are moving up in position. We'll be able to deny this temporarily here, but Happy, yeah, he has not dropped any mules down at his 4th base. And looking at the income count here, it's double it for Strelok. That is a key factor in this game. +3 just about to finish up too. Wouldn't be shocked to see him move in once that completes. But is he aware of it?
It was pretty interesting watching Happy trying to break that with the Thors, but
yeah,
Strelok, I mean, he's just got a ton of tanks here. And those upgrades, as you said, they're shelling away.
Thors, yeah. And here the +3 is just about to finish up. 1 second. Boom. The advantage is now huge for Strelok in terms of the upgrades.
65 damage versus 60 siege tanks.
In the third base, Happy is cleaning up some SCVs. Will get cleaned up by the Thor eventually.
I feel the economic damage that you can cause to someone's mineral line at this point, though, is a little too late, because as we see, Strelok has how many orbitals on the field right now? Let's check the 5 orbitals. I mean, that's a lot of mules, but we got the big break coming at the ramp. Tanks sieging up, trying to get in here.
I got the upgrades, and I'm just going to move forward, and everything is exploding here.
Happy with some amazing focus fire, though. He's actually actively targeting the tanks of Strelok, so this isn't random fire.
But the more and more that Happy loses, the less and less he's going to be able to replenish with. But okay, he does have his 4th base mining now, so he is okay in that regard. But still, that upgrade deficit may just be too much to overcome in this situation.
Oh, interesting choice there. We have Strelok actually sacrificing some mules in order to try and get some splash damage out of Happy.
He's got to find a way to deny this 4th base, and this is what I was talking about earlier with Aklilon Wastes, how the positioning of the 4th base is very beneficial for Terran players, because you can lock down the choke there from the high ground. But, you know, Strelok's really got to try to find an answer to deny the mining over here, and a drop would be so effective.
Oh, speaking of drops, we got 3 medevacs heading out with a lot of Hellbats in them.
Yeah, but that's a significant amount of supply that won't be in this, what appears to be another pinpointed attack towards that natural ramp of Happy. And if Strelok, I mean, if he was really, I don't know what he can do, but okay. Planetary Fortress is going to be under siege in the top here. And it does feel like Strelok will be able to clean that up relatively easily. He really needs to find a way to get in on this 3rd base that doesn't have enough tanks.
He's not repairing. Oh, there we go. The planetary finally being repaired. Is it in time, though, is the big question. No! It goes down!
Oh, well, he does have command centers. He can easily replace that with at some point here. And, you know, Strelok really not focusing on any air-oriented attacks. Still going very strong with his ground forces and not actually able to take this refinery down, though.
Yes, if he's just barely repairing it in time. But unloading some tanks on the low ground will change that, as Happy cannot adjust. He cannot come in here.
And the window's closing for this +3 upgrade advantage that Strelok currently has in the game. Happy's also going for his +2 ship plating and vehicle plating. And now with the tanks on the low ground, 4th base has now been forced to be lifting up. And now Happy's trying to move out, but it's scanned. It's scanned, though.
Yes, Strelok actually choosing to... Ooh, he was going to try and move forward there. But there's so many things still left on this ramp, it's not a wise decision.
He's going to try to flank the position here of his opponent. But his tanks are not up forward enough to catch everything.
No, Thor even coming down from behind, but the Thor's already almost dead.
Shot it so quick.
Well, I mean, you drop a Thor that's already in red health. I don't know what he expected to happen.
Right, but Strelok moving forward even more, needs to drop those Hellbats on top of the tanks. He does eventually do so, and now a significant chunk of Happy's army is going to be cleaned up while Strelok is continuing to reinforce with 5 tanks and 7 Hellbats at a time. He's got the position locked down at the 4th base, denying that from Happy, denying him from moving out in the middle. Hellbat drops are going to go down on these tanks. Actually, it's just tank drops, but still not going to be able to clean it up.
Happy,
so awkward to watch.
It's about time to, like, Happy has taken damage from these drops. I don't know how many times at this point. He's finally learned, like, oh, that works. I guess I'll use that against my opponent.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the upgrade advantage now. Hellbats are actually going to be dropped down here. As many tanks as he can clean up, it's going to be worth it to do so. Oh, man, I'm fearing for Happy in this situation. He really needs to try to find a way to break out of this. This is absolutely smothering tactics from Strelok, basically giving Happy a taste of his own medicine.
I would love so very much if Strelok would just get like one SCV down here to start repairing.
Well, Strelok was aware of it. He could fully deny this 4th base instead of a position by the natural expansion of Happy, shelling the depots and getting a good position if the tanks wanted to move out and try to attack him. But Happy's not giving up just yet, trying to move this 4th base down. Will be greeted by a Hellbat though.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Happy. I mean, he's keeping his head in the game. I mean, a lesser player would have GG'd out a long time ago, thinking that he just could never push out of this base. But he's taken back his 4th base location. He's trying to get a 5th out, but as you said, the Hellbat's there, so it's not hopeless by any means. But the upgrade gap has also been closed as well, as they are on equal upgrades. So I mean, Strelok had a huge advantage at one point, but has kind of fallen off, I feel, at this point.
Yeah, the thing is, though, he's making 7 tanks at a time. So it's going to get to a point where he might be able to start sacrificing tanks and replenishing them very quickly. He's continued to add on command centers. This is basically just going to come down to a big battle, and whoever's going to get the better positioning on the tank lines, killing some Hellbats here in the middle of the map. Slowly but surely, Happy is trying to extend his way out, but the 4th base, once again, a point of contention here.
Thor goes down, though. That Thor's been a big thorn, no pun intended, in Strelok's side. As it's been getting dropped all over the map, it finally gets taken out.
And Happy's actually taking a sneaky base here in the southwest position, and this is not known to Strelok. So
it's Strelok's base, man. What does he think he's doing?
Really cool stuff. As the more minerals he can mine out from that position, it's going to be the better for him later in the game when Strelok actually tries to take it. But all right. Continue to drop tanks on the low ground, deny this 4th base location. I believe he will force another liftoff on it. But okay, Happy's moved into what is the 4th base position of Strelok now.
Strelok's just got to be like, man, when did this happen? I thought I had that awesome contain going on. Nothing is worse than seeing, like, it's not going your way, but Planetary is going down so fast, not a single repair on it, Doom.
Yep. And now the siege tanks not in siege mode are going to be cleaning up the rest of these forces, though, and if they did want to pin them in there, they could easily siege up now and destroy the rest of it, but they're just going to stay out of siege mode now, clean up the Hellbats, clean up the Thor, and looking at Happy's army counts that compared to Strelok, he's down to about 28 supply, and that 4th base still continuously under siege, forced to repair, losing tons of minerals in that process, and man, Strelok just continuously able to drop mules at any base that he desires to, but, he is forced, he does see the slower base.
It's funny, right. I almost want to say, like, both players are about even, but... Or sorry, Strelok's ahead because of how aggressive he's been on the map, but the reality is, look at their bank, look at their income, and look at the units on the field. They're just about dead even at every turn.
Yeah, this is true, but now with this base being taken out, the income advantage is going to be once again in Strelok's favor, and Happy's doing everything he can to prevent this, though. A little swarm of tanks, Hellbats, and a single Thor are going to be challenging that planetary fortress to the north. But Strelok, man, he's got to realize, he's got to find a way to just get this 4th base out of the game. He can do that. Happy will have no other choice but try to break his tank line. And that
well, look at Happy. He's
so fast.
Mine out of his main, his natural's almost gone. His 3rd base is non-existent. So yeah, yes. I mean, it's the war of attrition, and eventually Happy will starve out if Strelok can keep this up. But this is not something easy to do.
Now, Happy's taking the advantage on the high ground with the Zeldnaga Tower 2. He will have a good range of vision with those siege tanks, but 4th base has been lifted once again.
Finally, those tanks have beaten the SCVs.
Yeah. And a key thing here is that Strelok's finally added in a couple of Vikings into his composition. Going to be sniping off those Hellbat drops. Nope. Not going to get it with 6 HP. We'll get it if the Hellbats do fall out, and one tank will fall.
He breaks the tanks in the north, though. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. These tanks are so crucial to TvT fights, and I mean, look at the unit counting station right now. It is 26-8, Doom.
Yes.
But I mean, there are a lot of Thors. A freaking lot of Thors for Happy.
Yeah, and I don't really know. I mean, Strelok's at a unit count disadvantage here. 157 supply to 179 supply at a Happy. Yeah, and as you said before, no banks for either player. Oh, he is going to try to morph two planetary fortress to the south, but I'm curious to see, you know, should the Thors be switching into high impact payload in this situation?
I don't think it matters. To be honest, it's not the air he's scared of, it's the ground.
But if you can eliminate like the medevacs...
Oh, but he's getting pincered in by 2 sets of tanks, Doom.
And a planetary tube dealing a lot of damage. The Thors are going to be moving up here.
If Happy loses these Thors, this could be it. These Thors were his last-ditch effort to get back into this.
Well, they are shelling that planetary fortress at the same time. The tanks are coming from behind, though. Going to be somewhat of a flanking maneuver here. And will the planetary actually fall? It does. There is, of course, another one there, though, so he will still be getting some benefits from that. Happy has reestablished his 4th base to the eastern position on the map, and the tank contained will be broken now by Hellbat drops, which are moving out in the field. Happy is once again able to breathe, moving his tanks and Hellbats forward, going to be able to clean up all the tanks that were in front of him from Strelok here. And now, those Strelok's in the unit supply advantage, this is somewhat of a foreign situation for him in this game. He's been so used to and comfortable locking Happy out from taking that 4th base. Now Happy should be able to take it uncontested, but if Strelok has anything to say about it, Happy's let his guard down, and now, oh, if he moves into position here, drawing the tank fire, he should be able to at least deny this base and deny any moves outs from that location.
It's about time someone got into the other's base, I have to say. I mean, it's been a long battle, but the thing is, the ground Strelok's gaining down here, not really a big deal. Geysers are gone, minerals are gone. I mean, Happy's more concerned about this 4th base location than anything else.
Yeah, and once again, Strelok has moved into his bread and butter location, sieging out in front of the natural. And with this newly found location at the 3rd base, as long as he's got infinite scans available to him, he'll be able to see Happy the entire time. That sensor tower is now gone too.
Happy continuing with the drops, but Strelok ready for them with his own Hellbats. I'd like to see Strelok start maybe, I guess, ferrying up to the main. I don't know, this is...
It's over for Happy. I'm sorry, Rifkin, but without any gas intake right now, the only option available to him really is to make Hellions, and that's never really going to be... Hellions or Hellbats, and I mean, although the drops are being somewhat effective, Strelok has now countered this by keeping a couple of Hellbats back to focus them down as they're dropped out.
Yeah, it's very nicely done by Strelok. He's definitely got... I feel he's more comfortable with this particular build than maybe Happy would be. Like, I feel if... I don't know, Strelok, it just feels like watching this game, the way it's progressed, he's had more practice, if that makes sense.
He's been doing mech in multiple matchups, so yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you there. And if he really knew what was going on with Happy, if he'd send one scan upwards, okay, there's the scan upwards. I believe he's going to move into the natural area next, Rifkin. Oh.
This is just...
Happy's not giving up. You got to give him credit for that.
Absolutely. I mean, he's sticking in this game, and there's so many points where I would have just GG'd at this point. There's been 3 different instances where I was about to say it's over, but I think I actually did at one point. But
now are in the main base and assaulting these unit production structures. This could be the nail in the coffin here for Happy.
Actually, shooting the turrets for now. Not a bad choice, but. Yeah, he needs to take out the tech labs, he needs to cut the production. I mean, that's how you hurt a Terran player. It doesn't matter what race you are, it's all about the production for Terran.
Gate into the 4th base here. Strelok is going to get on top of these tanks with the Hellbats, and they're going to be able to clean that up easily. Looking at the tank count now, we're Happy. It's reduced to only 5, while Strelok has 11 and 25 Hellbats on the field. Oh my gosh, this base is going to be roasted to the north, and all these
It'll actually be killed as well. The Vikings are on it, and Happy can't afford to lose this. He does not have the minerals to waste to reinforce another command center.
No, and he needs every mule that he can get. That command center has a ton of energy on it, almost up to 150. And okay, Happy continue to move out with small contingencies, but this is just going to get smothered by what Strelok has. As Strelok pulls back, gets his units confined to one location, he'll be able to clean this up with no problem. I mean, looking at the supplies, 160 for Happy, 165 for Strelok. You've got to think this is his one final swoop in the game, even continuously trying to target that siege tank down. He will get it, but at the cost of what, Rifkin?
At what cost? But yeah, I think
man.
this is getting to be that point, Doom. It's 1 base versus 3.
Yes, Happy will desperately trying to land his command center over there, but Strelok so cleverly will be dropping the barracks down to deny it. And although Happy's moving into a decent siege position to protect what was his 4th base here, he's going to be so devastated to see that the barracks will need to be cleaned up before he's able to drop this command center back down.
That is so dirty.
Alright.
Well,
So
it
now
will be
Strelok's
cleaned up,
aware.
but I mean, this is another unfavorable position. Strelok just, he has the numbers. He can throw his units away. Happy cannot.
Absolutely, it tips Strelok off to the fact that Happy wants to be taking this position. Siege tanks are going to get up here. Good shots off, going down on those Hellbats. Hellbat versus Hellbat lines. Looks like they will be cleaned up completely, and Strelok just simply has more stuff available to him. He's, like you said before, throwing units away, but he has the ability to reinforce here with that greater economy. This could be the last moments for Happy in this game, as every single tank is cleaned up on the field, down to 3 total, 2 total. Oh my
Meanwhile,
gosh.
the Hellbats clean up all the workers at one of these bases, but again, it doesn't really matter at this point. The economic damage cannot be caused by killing SCVs at the mineral line. You gotta kill off the gas.
Happy forced to pull SCVs now to join in the fray to his attacking army. He's at 71 supply against the 171 supply of Strelok. This is just looking like it's gonna be it. It's just a matter of time here.
Is this Happy's
Here we go.
second to last command center they can afford to get rid of? There we go. Oh my goodness. What an endurance game out of both of these guys.
43.5 minutes.